Hey YouTubers, Electric Adventures here, back from Christmas and an extended break, extended due to a certain thing that may be unfamiliar to people overseas, but here in Australia it does occur, which is called bushfires. Yes, I have been stranded on a remote peninsula in Tasmania for 5 days, and myself and my family were all well. Our property down there has currently, so far, not suffered any damage. Doesn't mean that it's not still out of danger, unfortunately, but we managed to be evacuated in a convoy of cars early yesterday morning. We left at 12:30 PM, or I suppose it's 12:30 AM, isn't it, and got home at 2:30 AM, drove right through the fire zone, so a very strange experience driving in the dark and seeing flames up on the hills and in trees either side of you as you drive through. But many thanks to the rescue personnel who assisted and got us through and got my family home, because by that stage we were out of water and not much food left. We ended up at one of the community rescue centre. Held out for a couple of days at our own property as much as we could, because there were already a lot of people at the rescue centre. We didn't want to put a strain on it, but then eventually it got too much and had to go around there. They looked after us very well and we got home safe. That's all that counts. We were lucky enough not to lose any property, but a lot of people have, unfortunately. I may edit this and show some graphics up next to me while I'm telling you all about that, but anyway, that an interesting experience. Normally I go down there to have a relax and sit on the beach and just do general stuff. I was planning to do a bit more coding of my Coleco conversions and things like that, but I've had to put all that on hold just for the time being, so I'll be getting back onto that as I get myself settled down again. Alright, so enough of that part of the thing. We did have a good Christmas. My family bought me some interesting retro orientated items. The first one here, it's just a little notebook, but it's retro orientated, and I've decided to use it as my high score logbook, because I've been keeping them in my other notebooks, but I go through them reasonably quickly, whereas this one I should be able to have a section for each system and keep my high scores, because it's a good way of challenging myself of trying to do high scores all the time. There seems to be a lot of Pac-Man merchandising around this year, and actually I've forgotten to grab an item which I'll grab in a second, but I got some Pac-Man bandages, so good for any retro player, emergency supplies in case you cut your finger. Now I have a Star Wars cup, Galaxy's Best Dad. The cup is being washed. I can't grab it in time for this video. Another really cool item are these decals that go on the back of your car. Now, I'm not sure whether you've got this in another country, but they have these My Family stickers in Australia, where you put the members of your family on the back of your car, representations, mother, father, kids and pets. So this is the geeks version of those. So of course a Doctor Who theme. So that's going to go on the back of one of our family cars. My wife got me this book, which I hadn't read, which is the Steve Jobs autobiography. It's actually a really good read. I highly recommend it. It really does give you a good insight into his character, and as as much of a pushy character he was to some of his staff and things like that, he was an innovator. I'll just go and get that other one. And sorry for being in shabby clothes, we haven't done any washing yet. This is a remote controlled Pac-Man Racers. So you have the remote controls and the Pac-Man and the Ghost. I have opened it, play with it. So my two older girls used their own money and bought this for me. Unboxing. So you have the Pac-Man. Now the actual units don't make any noise, but they're controlled by the remote control, so you can just turn them on when you want to use them. And then you have a remote control for each one. So this is Pac-Man's remote control. So we turn him on, and it has a sound which you can turn off, and you can see the remote control controlling it there, and obviously you can turn the Pac-Man sound on. Surface needs to be reasonably flat, of course. And then you have the Ghost one, which has the Ghost sound, and you can turn that off as well, and that controls the Ghost, so you can have Pac-Man races. Well, I thought that was a very interesting little thing. There's actually quite a few Pac-Man gifts. I've noticed a few other people have put them up as well, so it's, I don't actually really have a lot of retro-orientated merchandising, so it's actually nice to get those couple of bit of merchandising. I mean, obviously I do have a bit of Star Wars stuff, but it's nice to get some actual retro gaming specific stuff. Now also as a family we got a Wii U. I'm not going to show the box for that, it's not really retro. The kids have loved it. So all we did was we got the black one, which came with Nintendo Land, and they have played Nintendo Land quite a lot together, which is one of the main reasons of getting the systems, having it on the main family TV, was that everybody can get together and have some fun. We even had my wife and my sister and brother-in-law and their children around for Christmas evening, and we're all playing, taking turns with the. We had 4 Wii controllers plus the Wii U remote, and we're playing the Luigi Mansion Ghost thing for probably about 2 or 3 hours. And the kids have gone on and played quite a few of the other games as well, and they still are. Now, as a secondary thing that arrived the day I left for my shack or holiday home, and that's pretty much the day before the fires, this arrived. So a Neo Geo X Gold. Plenty of people have done unboxing videos. I may do a specific video about my opinions and comparisons on this later in the week. I have only played with the actual handheld part of it, and as a handheld I quite like it. I was not able to play with the main unit because I needed a plug converter, even though the adapter can handle, 240 volts. It's got a different plug on it, and this arrived just as we were packing to go away, so I just took it with me to play with it. And I was able to use the handheld because at the end of the day it is just a mini USB, and I was able to charge it with some of the other items I had. And as a handheld I actually quite like it, so pin to be reserved when I compare it against others. So, but I won't go into too much detail about that because I'll do another video on it. Now I'm going to answer a response on this as well, which is because it's my December video, so I might as well do my collection goals for 2013. So this is a thing started by atarileaf. He's done it for 3 years in a row. I can remember doing a response last year, but I can't find the video. So maybe I embedded it in another video last year as well. That's why I can't specifically find it. Now, part of my goals last year was to continue collecting towards my Master System collection, not necessarily completing it. No, I've definitely done that. I've gotten up to 237 out of 300 of the world titles, and 230 of 268 of the Power Region titles. So only 38 to go for the Power Region, and 63 to go for the world set. So, and I actually did pick up a couple of nice rare ones, which is like Hess 4-in-1, although then I had to go and buy another Master System 2 that was a specific ROM version so I could play that, and I haven't actually kept my other Master System 2. I actually gave it to another gentleman who I mentioned a minute, who's the guy that I did the Vectrex trade for recently, who's going to be repairing some of my systems. So I want to continue and see if I can complete that collection this year. Not sure whether I'll do it because we're at the hard end of the collection, of course, and there's quite a few expensive titles there. Now next, I'm still continuing my shoot-em-ups collection, primarily concentrated on the PC Engine and the Mega Drive Genesis. So I'm going to continue those. And I mean, I don't think I'll complete it this year, but let's see how far I get. Now, of course, as far as my other things that I collect, which are retro computers, I'm actually reasonably happy with the retro computers I have. But if I see particular retro systems, I will think about, especially ones that are really rare, I'll think about picking them up depending on the price. But one mini collection of that are the Atari 8-bit line. I still need an original 800, a 600 XL, a 1200 XL, and a 65 XE, and then I'll have one of every single Atari 8-bit machine. And at the moment, as I said, I'm pretty happy otherwise, so on that front, so I think that's pretty right. Now, next item, I've actually written myself a list, so I'm organising and don't take up too much time, although me waffling will take up more time. Now, repairs. Now, I've found a gentleman who is quite good at repairing things, especially things that are beyond my abilities. Now, I was going to try and fix the Amiga 5000 myself, but he grabbed that and said that would be easy for him. And he's taken that and took the battery that I got a replacement battery, and he had replacement CMOS ICs, and he's got that working, so I know that one's working. And he's also taken my Sony MSX2 Plus, which was usually sitting behind me up there, and he's working on that, and also the Panasonic MSX2 machine, which was upgraded to a 2 Plus. So it'd be great having those couple of MSX machines back in the collection. Although I've indicated, because I already do have an Panasonic MSX2, and if I've got the Sony MSX2 Plus, I may actually give that to the guy that's fixing them. And also, sort of to help him out at Christmas, I gave him a Sega Master System 2 and a few games that he was actually giving to a friend of his that he'd done a favour for. Now, future projects for this year, things, they're not collection goals, these are just things I would like to do. I, a little while ago, got very cheaply another ColecoVision console. And I knew the power supply worked, but I'd never get a picture on the screen, so I didn't think the unit worked. But actually, by switching the AV switch to the other switch, you don't get anything when you have the AV switch in one position. You put it in the other position, you do get a signal, but it's terrible. Here's the top of the shield inside. By taking it apart, and it was extremely dirty, by the way, taking it apart and taking the shield off the top, I actually got a picture, and it's really clear, like it's actually better than my other one. But then when I put it back together again, I got the bad signal again. So it's got some loose connections on the daughter board that has the RF part of it. So I thought I might as well. Oh, and also this one's switch works better than mine, so it doesn't have the corruption as often. And I think its actual cartridge slot is cleaner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do AV mod this, and there aren't that many videos on AV modding a PAL Coleco. So what I'll try and do is video that, and I really do want to try and get into repairing things a little more. Now I've also built, I realised that I actually have a reasonable amount of retro PC software, and most of it I can't play it anymore. Here is Eye of the Beholder, original one, 3.5-inch version. I had the 5.25-inch version, but I actually found a 3.5-inch version. I didn't have a PC. I had lots of parts around, so I assembled a machine and put it together, and I thought, well, I'll see if I can get a better graphics card for it. And I got one that has SVGA out, and I should be able to hook it up to my EasyCap using the SVGA, and that way I can play the game on the machine and output it to the capture device, which is this monitor I'm looking at right next to the PC, so I'll still be able to play the game, and I'll be able to record it in reasonably good quality without taxing the actual machine it's being played on. Now the machine's been built as a Windows XP machine to ensure the greatest level of compatibility, so even like something like that title I need to use DOSBox, but other titles it'll be far easier, and I have quite a few of the Star Wars games, so I was thinking of doing a bit of a series on those. Now, my arcade cabinet that was also part of my Christmas presents, it worked. I'm going to do another video on it shortly, but it has the voltage regulator on the monitor board is faulty. The person who sold it to me is going to replace that, but Christmas is his busiest time of the year, and I haven't heard from him for a little while, so I'll have to chase him up. But also in around February, I'm going to get a cabinet, a slightly smaller cabinet, doesn't it? It's not as big as that one, but it's in the horizontal configuration, and I'm going to try and get my MVS 1-slot Neo Geo board working in that horizontal cabinet. And I'm going to at the same time do a cabinet for another, so get one of these cabinets and fix it up and get a 48 or 60 in one game board and do it up for a friend of mine. And the way I see it, that way I'll get a couple more Jammer individual boards when I do those sort of things anyway. Right, so last but not least, my game releases for the ColecoVision. I am still working on them. I've had to move my goals by about a month. I've got my prototype Coleco PCBs and cartridge shells, and I have the code almost finished on my EA Classics. I've just I'm a bit of a fussy person, so I'm fussing over some of the timings and things like that, and sound and music, and even silly things like the title screen and things like that. So I will get there in the next couple of weeks and hopefully get a beta out to a couple of people who are going to do some testing for me in about another 2 weeks, and then maybe February, I suppose, we could actually get real releases. So I will have to, I'm not sure, I was going to get one of my daughters to do the artwork, but I'm not sure they're totally enthused about doing that. So I'll have another go, and then I might get the guys who publish the Coleco games to just, knock up some artwork. Now, as far as cross conversions, a bit of good news on that. I believe I should be able to do original Spectravideo releases as well. Another YouTuber, I'll put a link down to him below, jiffyzero, or Tomas as his name is, has sent me some details on the original Spectravideo's game cartridge. I mean, I've only ever physically seen one, Super Cross Force, and he sent me the details on that, and there's some circuit diagrams, so I do have some information. So I'm going to make a probably do a breadboard version and try and work out on programming a cartridge for that, and I'll get some EEPROMs that I can program multiple times, so I can try and work that out. But I'll get the Coleco releases out of the way, and then I'll probably do a very limited number of releases for the Spectravideo, probably without a case. That'll probably just be a bare PCB, unless I magically find somewhere where I can get a smaller number of cases done. Spectravideo releases probably will be more expensive than the others, and don't forget I'll also be doing MSX and Sega SC3000, SG1000 releases as well. Alright, hope this hasn't been too rambly, but it's nice to be back. I'm catching up on as many videos as can. There will probably be some I won't be able to watch all of the ones that I normally watch, but I'll try and catch up and get back into what I love, watching YouTube videos, making YouTube videos, and playing retro video games. Alright, hope everybody had a happy Christmas and a happy New Year, and I'll catch you all in the next video.